You cut it out. Butterscotch, because we're different. Always have different opinions, and yet we are really good friends. Best friends. So then we decided to start Butterscotch in 2017, and we thought it would serve the purpose of documenting the activities that we share together, things that bring us together. Like, one, music. Angela is an artist as well.
Yes, we are.
But like not recording artists.
Yeah, you just don't know us yet. But we are there.
We are live vocalists, live artists, or something like. Anyway, we sing in the band. So I had this experience where I was hanging out with a group of friends and I met this new person, and then this guy touched my thigh. And it made me feel very, very uncomfortable. So while we were talking about it, Angela was like, this is one of the things that we should actually be talking about. Exactly. It happens to a lot of women. People touch them without permission. And then we were discussing, and then we had a really heated conversation. So that's what we want to discuss today, consent.
Consent is if I give someone permission to do something or to be part of something, an activity or anything. That is how I understand it.
Angela was telling me it's something that so many people have gotten so used to that they don't even think it's not normal for someone to just touch you, and then they expect you to get uncomfortable because that's how it is.
Yeah, people are shocked actually. People are shocked when you tell them off, because usually, I don't know if it's because of society or we are so used to it that sometimes we don't even tell the person that you're making me uncomfortable. And sometimes when we do, they're actually really surprised. It's like they are shocked, they don't expect it. Like, why are you even bothered? I'm just touching your thigh, you know. Like, have you had any experiences, like, before you even talk about it, you could put it in the comment section below,
so that we read about it and what exactly you think about it.
Yes. For example, Tracy came here today and the first thing I did was hug her, of course. But sometimes we meet people who are acquaintances or workmates. Do we talk about such things when we were growing up? Me personally, I've never had such conversations in the homestead where I grew up. Like, have you had those conversations whereby, like, for example, you're younger and your mom sits you down, or your bigger sister or whoever sits you down and is like, okay, now let's have a talk. Like, not the sex talk, but like
let's just talk about that.
Yeah, like, for example, how to, because usually I think when we're younger we are told do not talk to strangers, do not open up the door for people you don't know, those things. But what of your physical body, like your personal space? Has your parent ever told you about that? You and your siblings, you tell your siblings about it?
It's partly because the people in his life, the people that he's met with, the people that he has engaged with before, do not have a problem with it, or maybe have had a problem and they've never been verbal about how uncomfortable it makes them feel, or they're just okay. Either way, it's not right to assume that I am comfortable with you touching my body. If I want to hug a person that I don't usually interact with or something, I usually ask them, may I hug you? And then when they say yes, I go ahead and hug them. I've had experiences where someone will just randomly come and hug me, and it would make me feel uncomfortable because I haven't given them permission to do that. I am not a hugger. You can't just come and hug me. Let's shake hands, let's fist bump. When it happened to me, I just moved out. I was very, very uncomfortable and I felt angry. I wasn't able to speak to that person and tell them, hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable. Now, when we spoke, we say that if I see him again, I'm going to be verbal, and I just tell him I didn't like that you did this.
Women, I don't know if it's, I don't want to generalize, but I don't know if it's the way we're brought up or it's a society that sometimes we take in things, like something happens to us and we're not comfortable with it, but we let it pass. And so someone mentioned that usually women do not think that, I don't know, like, you will think, like, for example, like, oh, I respect other people, so people should respect me as well. Unfortunately, that does not happen. So we really need to be clear about something. It's like setting boundaries. And it's hard sometimes because when you start to talk about it, we have seen scenarios that, let me say, in the park, you know, when you're like in the old park or in the window, and those men pull your card dress, like those things.
I know.
So usually when you tell someone, oh, why did you talk about it? But there are certain scenarios you can't even start talking about it because it's like you're trying to, you're making the situation worse.
Yeah.
So is that why we don't talk about such issues? And then sometimes when because I read somewhere where it says like when you're talking about such things when it comes to boundaries, you need to be polite. But then I think the person who wrote the book is not in the context of Uganda. Because actually in Uganda, people have a saying when a woman says no, like apparently they say yes, or
when mean yes.
And now when you're meek about it, you're like, oh no, I'm not comfortable with that. If my tone is low, I don't think, okay, sorry for generalizing, but I don't think some Ugandan men would understand. Okay, even women, maybe they're also women. And by the way, personally, we are talking about the women because you talked about it last time that we don't know what men have gone through, so we cannot talk on your behalf. So we are talking as women.
Ladies.
And it would be very nice to hear, like to have a man's point of view about someone invading, like
very much,
their personal space. And so exactly what we're talking about, that thing of like, do you tell them slowly like, oh please, I don't like what you're doing, or will he even take it seriously? So most of us usually, if we are to talk about it, your voice you'll actually be tough. And then, but unfortunately, that is usually misinterpreted as you're too tough, you're aggressive, you are.
I know. I mean, I come across as a very serious, principled person. So if I've aired out, I usually stand my ground and I air out things that I don't like, and I've always come across as aggressive. Of course, I know the day that I will actually ever see that person again and just tell them I didn't like it, because it will make me feel better when I tell them, so that they will know not to do it again.
We invaded people's spaces as well. Do we even know that we've ever invaded other people's spaces? I have a friend in cell, like where I was in cell, and we call her the hug monster. Like she loves, like she'll see from that side come running and like almost, I don't know,
and hug you.
So it was actually really hard for her during the COVID pandemic because you would have to tell like, yo,
don't hug me.
I don't know where you've been. But so I think she does it from a place of love, like and I think because sometimes even where we grew up from, some people have grown up in homesteads where they are so lovey-dovey, like touchy, you hug and kiss everyone. And so you do that to your friends sometimes, maybe not consciously. What can be done about this?
First of all, I think we need to be verbal. Like generally about life, about anything, we need to be verbal. If you don't like something, say it out. You talk about it. Because I know, I think most of our generation, at least the kids that have come after us, the space is quite different.
Definitely.
You know, it's quite different for them. They are more expressive and all of that. But for this generation of ours, we're a little bit more reserved. Like I can't say this, or I can't say this because it might come out disrespectful. But you need to be verbal. You can't control what the other person is gonna say or how they're gonna feel, but it is your body. You need to tell them, this makes me uncomfortable. I don't like this. If they say something, just be verbal. Speak up.
Speak about it. Because I have a feeling if you don't say anything, that person might think, because we might take it for granted that,
and then they do it again.
But then they'll exactly do it again because, and now the third time they do it, and then they'll be like, but I did it the first time.
And then
so say it, like she's saying,
say it, do it scared, do it nervous, and just say no, say I don't want this. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to continue with this.
And how someone reacts is not your problem. Like, well, they like it, they don't like it, you shouldn't be worried about because it is your body, so don't be scared of hurting someone's ego or feelings.
So I guess this brings us to the end. Please do leave us comments, send us warm hugs, because this is our first video and we want to keep doing more of them.
You please critique, not criticize.
Yes.
And be nice. Like, do you like it? Do you like how we talked about it, how we went about it? Do you have any particular topic you would want us to talk about? Because we have things like our conversations we think are really interesting, but maybe there are those ones we haven't talked about, but you talk about with your friends and you're like, it's hilarious or it is an abomination, like those topics that bring about everyone like talking, that start the conversation. So you can leave them in the comments section people so that maybe we can talk about it.
Yes. So thank you for watching up to this far. See you in our next episode.